Time is more valuable than money. Yep. When I was younger, I thought money solved everything. Priorities were very different when I was younger. If I just had more of it, I could do this or that. I could have what I wanted. I worked harder, learn more, save more, climb higher. And money does matter, especially in retirement. We talk about that a lot here. But what I've learned is this. Even though most of us are on a fixed income, you can always make more money. You cannot make more time. And money doesn't buy happiness. The older I get, the more I understand that the real wealth is time with your spouse, time with your grandkids and your kids. It's time sitting outside the RV watching the sunset. Time doing whatever I want to do, basically. And I wasted a lot of years thinking, someday I'll slow down. Someday I'll travel for pleasure instead of work. Someday I'll enjoy life. Someday turns into now real quick. Most things that we worry about never happen. I've worried about jobs, finances, money, what people think, whether I was doing enough, whether I was successful enough. And here's what I've learned. 90% of the things I stressed out about either never happened, didn't matter, or worked out just fine. And the people that I worried about what they thought of me weren't worth worrying about. But the stress, now, that was real. That's why I had to have a heart valve replaced in 2020. That's why I have to take blood pressure medication and about 12 other medicines. I gave away much of my peace and joy for problems that didn't even show up. Now, I still plan, I still prepare, but I refuse to live in fear. Simpler is better. When we started simplifying, my wife would say, we need to get rid of some of this stuff around here. Oh boy, I wanted to go run and hide. I would say, what stuff? I don't have anything I'm willing to part with. We would gather things and take them to the Goodwill or sell them on Facebook Marketplace. And as it turns out, there's nothing that we got rid of that I miss or think, man, I wish I still had that. If you haven't used something in a year, you're probably not going to use it. Anyway, less is more. A little story, a little background here. We had a pool that we built about 10 years ago. It was an above ground pool. And I rented a mini excavator, and my son, my middle son, who's a heavy machine operator, came over and leveled the ground so that the finished pool would be level. The top of the pool would be level with the existing deck on the back side of the house. Then my oldest son, who at the time was a carpenter, and another friend that traveled from several cities away to help, they helped me build the deck all around the pool. Man, we enjoyed that pool immensely. But over time, it became more work, more maintenance, more expense, more worry. Worry that the liner might break and flood the basement of the house. The cost of chlorine was going through the roof. It was a lot of work trying to keep the leaves out of the pool. We had to worry about mold growing on the deck boards and rotting them out, having to replace them all the time. It was all a bigger headache than we needed. My wife started telling me we needed to get rid of it about a year or two before I finally agreed. I resisted initially because I loved it so much and had put so much effort into building it. So I ended up giving the pool to my youngest son in exchange for him removing it and helping me dismantle the deck so that I could scale down the size of the deck to make it more manageable. It all worked out just fine. Whether it was downsizing, getting rid of the pool, RVing, or just cutting the clutter, something changed. There was less worry, less stuff, less maintenance, less pressure. There was more freedom. I've learned that bigger isn't always better, and busier isn't always better. Newer isn't always better. Now sometimes I see people that have a lot of belongings, multiple cars, houses and stuff, and I think to myself, those poor people have to keep up with all that crap. Better them than me, you know? Peace is better. And sometimes the happiest people aren't the ones with the most. They're the ones who finally realized what they didn't need. Your health is everything. You know, you don't think about your knees in your 30s. You don't think about your back in your 40s. But you sure think about them in your 60s. I've learned that if you don't take care of your health early, you'll pay for it later. Money won't matter if you can't enjoy the life you built. Now, I've had problems with my weight through the years because I love good food and I've made poor choices. But I am working on that. I've recently lost 30 pounds. I'm eating right and exercising. I'm also using Mounjaro. I'm not sponsored, but it really does help. It suppresses my appetite, makes it easier for me to eat healthy food. I may be doing an episode on my health and weight loss journey soon. I'll try to keep you updated on my progress. But hey, get out there, walk more, move more, eat better, sleep better, and stop saying, I'll start next week. I've done that too long. Relationships matter more than being right. This one took me a while. You know how when you were a teenager, you knew everything. You didn't doubt yourself. You knew it all. Well, the older I've gotten, the more I realize what I don't know, what I haven't learned yet. The more I realize how much there is to know. You know, at our age, we've learned a lot through study, experience, or just hard knocks. I used to think winning the argument was very important. Proving my point, making sure I was understood. My way is better. But I've learned being right doesn't build connection. Listening does. Apologizing when you're wrong does. Letting small things go does. Especially in marriage and especially in retirement. You spend a lot of time together in this season of life. Pick your battles wisely or you'll lose the war. Choose peace. Hey, my wife is always right. Retirement is not the finish line. A lot of people think retirement is the end. It's not. I've learned that if you retire from something without retiring to something, you can feel kind of lost. You know, we need purpose. You need goals. You need something that gets you out of bed. For me, that's this channel, small projects around the house, sharing time with people I love, little RV projects, camping trips, conversations like this. It's not about stopping, it's about shifting to better things. The older I get, the more I realize Life doesn't have to be perfect to be good. We live a relatively simple life. We're not poor, but definitely not rich. But you don't need $1 million to feel rich. You don't need a mansion to feel blessed. You don't need everything to be happy. For us, less is more. You just need perspective. Every morning I try to ask, what's good today? Sometimes it's something big. Sometimes it's just hot coffee and quiet. But gratitude makes all the difference in life, I think. Reflect on how much God has blessed you. I don't have life all figured out. I still make mistakes, still argue at times, still worry sometimes, still get angry in traffic at times, still learn the hard way now and then. But if there's one big thing I've learned, it's this. Slow down, appreciate what you have, love stronger, protect your peace, and don't wait too long to live the life you've been working toward. Hey, if this message resonated with you, let me know. Tell me, what's something you have learned along the way? I'd love to hear it. Well, that's all I have for today's Coffee Talk. As always, thanks for sitting down with me and listening to me ramble. Enjoy your coffee, enjoy the journey, and we'll see you down the road.